Listen, history is filled with moments that have changed the world forever. But sometimes, tragedies remain less discussed than others. One of those events is named the Armenian Genocide, a mass killing and forced deportation of Armenians that took place during the final years of the Ottoman Empire. Historians estimate around 1 to 1.5 million Armenians lost their lives between 1915 and 1923. Today, the Armenian Genocide remains one of the most important and debated events in modern history. For centuries, Armenians lived within the Ottoman Empire as a Christian minority. Many Armenians built communities, churches, schools, businesses throughout the entire empire. However, during the late 1800s and early 1900s, political instability, nationalism, and growing tension began to change life for minority groups. As the Ottoman Empire weakened, leaders increasingly viewed Armenians with suspicion, especially during the chaos of World War I. When World War I began, the Ottoman Empire joined the conflict alongside Germany and Austria. During the war, Ottoman leaders accused Armenians of supporting enemy forces, particularly the Russian Empire. Although some Armenians did support Russia, historians agree that the Ottoman government used these accusations to justify the widespread deportation and violence against the Armenian population. On April 24, 1915, hundreds of Armenian intellectuals, writers, religious leaders, and political figures were arrested in Constantinople, known now as Istanbul. Many were later executed. This date is widely recognized as the beginning of the Armenian Genocide because it targeted the leadership of Armenian communities, leaving civilians vulnerable and isolated. Soon after, Armenian families across the empire were forced from their homes. Men were often separated and killed first, while women, children, and the elderly were deported on long marches through the deserts. These forced journeys became death marches. People suffocated from starvation, dehydration, disease, exhaustion, and attacks along the way. The entire communities disappeared during the deportations. One of the most infamous destinations for deported Armenians was the Syrian desert near Deir ez-Zor. Thousands of Armenians died here under brutal conditions. Survivors described seeing endless suffering during the marches with little food, water, or shelter. Many children were orphaned and countless families were permanently separated. The genocide destroyed not only lives, but also Armenian culture and heritage. Throughout the region, churches, schools, and historic sites were abandoned, destroyed, or taken over. Communities that had existed for generations vanished almost entirely from parts of the Ottoman Empire. Survivors who escaped often fled to other countries, creating Armenian communities around the world in places like France, the United States, Lebanon, and Russia. Despite the horrors, many Armenians fought to survive and preserve their identity. Survivors passed down stories, photographs, songs, traditions to the future generations. These personal accounts became vital historical evidence that ensured the memories of those who suffered would not disappear. The Armenian Genocide also influenced the understanding of crimes against humanity. Lawyer Raphael Lemkin later created the term genocide after studying the events like the Armenian Genocide and the Holocaust. He believed the world needed laws to prevent governments from destroying entire groups of people. Today, many people officially recognize the Armenian Genocide, while the government of Turkey disputes the use of the term genocide. This disagreement continues to affect international politics and discussions about history, accountability, and human rights. Every year, on the 24th of April, Armenians around the world gather to remember the victims. In Yerevan, thousands visit the memorial to honor those who died. Followers are placed around an eternal flame, and moments of silence remind the world what history can never forget. The Armenian Genocide remains one of the most powerful reminders of how fear, nationalism, discrimination, and war can lead to unimaginable violence. It is also a story of survival, resilience, and remembrance. More than a century later, the voices of survivors and their descendants continue to ensure that this chapter of history is remembered by the future generations. As always, thanks again for listening, and please do not forget to like and subscribe. Wander always, but please wander safely.